Metamorphosis është albumi I famshëm I bunkerëve I fotografit I njohur anglez Robert Hackman, I njohur edhe në Shqipëri. Libri luksoz I botuar në Londër menjëherë pas botimit u promovua në BBC, National Geographic dhe të tjera media prestigjioze, të cilat e cilësuan si një nga botimet më të mira të vitit 2019.
Albanian bunkers and Albania. Albania is, as you know, becoming more and more popular as a tourist destination. So it's definitely helped sell the book better as well because of the increase of interest in tourism in Albania. Further to that, we've been selling the book in the shops at the airport, and that's been getting very good sales from the international and foreign tourists coming into the country.
Sot në Dritare, fotografi I njohur anglez Hackman na tregoi më tepër rreth esurisë së albumit të tij në një lidhje direkte. Më tej fotografi I njohur Robert Hackman tregoi rreth perceptimit që është krijuar për shqiptarët që emigrojnë në Angli në mënyrë të palishme dhe jehonës që pati në mediat e huaja emigrimi I shqiptarëve mes kanalit të La Manshit drejt ëndrrës së tyre Anglis.
To be honest, I've only just been looking into it since you reached out to me. Most of the reports and media on this subject are in the more right-winged newspapers in this country. So they're always looking for some what we call a bogeyman, something to concentrate people to focus on. That's something that's negative and like an enemy, if you could call it that. So within the newspapers that I read that are much more, and media which is much more centre, The Guardian being one has done one article on it, but looking on the more right-wing newspapers like the Daily Mail, there's a lot of articles there. And I'm always very suspicious of a lot of Daily Mail news articles because they don't really follow proper. They're not the best journalists, I don't think. They don't really follow proper lines of inquiry, and it's all very shock to try and sell newspapers. So, but there has definitely been an increase of Albanians entering the country, what we say illegally by boat, over the last few years. So in the first 6 months of last year, there were only 23 recorded Albanians coming across the channel by boat. And this year, the first 6 months, there were 2,165 Albanians coming by boat. But we have to remember that also, in general, there's a lot more people trying to enter the country illegally by boat this year than there were last year. So, of course, the number's going to increase as well. So we have to keep it in proportion. If I go and speak to maybe the more elderly population who are more inclined to read newspapers like the Daily Mail, then they probably would have a more negative perception. If you speak to people in city areas and more rural areas where they do come in contact with Albanians, and maybe younger people, you'll find that there's a different perception and a more positive perception. In my area, there are a lot of Albanians, but they're not Albanians sitting around on the streets. They're not Albanians doing illegal crime, and they're hard-working people, just like everybody else. They're running businesses. They're working in small businesses. They're running small businesses and contributing to society. So, if I wanted to go and look for criminals that were Albanians, I could find them. But if I wanted to go and look for criminals that were any other nationality, including British, I'd be able to find them as well. So it depends what you're really looking for. If I'm wandering around like the average person, which I am, I'm running into other average people who are, if they're Albanian, they'll be doing the same things as me. So, Albanians are like any other, hardworking people that come into this country. They want to contribute. They want to establish lives. They want to establish their families. So it depends which way you want to look at something. People smuggling happens in every country, especially countries that their economies might not be as strong as neighbouring and near countries like the UK. So those criminal elements are always going to be giving the good side of things and they're trying to sell a product, and their product is smuggling you into another country. So they're never going to give you the bad side of the story. And the bad side of the story is that young people that come to this country illegally will find it difficult because you're not registered within the system. So you will be working in illegally placed industries. And so as a consequence, you won't have the same rights, you won't have the same protections as other people do, and you will be exploited. So you will be paid low wages, you won't have the proper health and safety. And young people, I have come across a few young people that Albanians living in this country, and they struggle. They have a hard time. They all say it's not as easy as they thought it would be. It's very hard, unemployment, they do find employment, but it's usually, they're being employed through some illegal means, I guess. Not that they fully tell me what's going on, but it's not easy. I mean, there's, the United Kingdom is going through a difficult stage at the moment. We have, less investment in our health systems, less investment in our social security. So they're going to find it difficult. It's not going to be easy. It never has been easy, but particularly now in this present climate, it's not the dream country that they think it will be, and they will arrive to a very hostile government towards illegal immigration and becoming increasingly more hostile. I see that there's going to be Albanian police probably put at Dover port to help process the Albanians that are coming into the country by boat, to process them quicker, to have them returned back to Albania. So there's now a lot more cooperation between the British government and the Albanian government to quickly process these migrants. We have to look at the reverse situation, and the reverse situation is there's an increased amount of migrants from the United Kingdom, the United States, and other places in Europe going to live in Albania. We call them expats. I mean, just even the language says something. Someone from outside Albania, or when a British person goes and lives in another country, we call them an expat, but they're actually migrants, just the same as the Albanians coming here. So these expats or migrants that are coming into your country, they're more cash rich than the local population. Now, looking at, say, a website, say that there's websites that give information to people that want to go and live in Albania. If you're a foreigner living in Albania, you can live there comfortably on $600 a month. Now, $600 a month is way above the average expenditure of the Albanian person living in Albania. Now, say on a group like Expats Abroad in Albania, which is on Facebook, I recently saw someone on there wanting to move to Albania and said they intend to spend $2,000 a month. Can I live comfortably? Now, the average migrant living in Albania probably spends $2,000 a month, I'm presuming, if that's what this person is saying, or more. That distorts the local economy. Now, if there's a flat or a house that's going to be rented, and you have a foreigner come into the country that's going to spend double the amount to rent it than the local person, that puts pressure on the local person. So we have to look at also what pressure is being applied by us to the Albanians. So that has to be kept in proportion. And there are an increasing number of foreigners living in Albania, which I think is a good thing, because those skills that they have and the people that they will employ will help the country, especially the younger generation. So, and I don't know, I think maybe your present government is aware of this, and they've been encouraging more younger foreign migrants to come into the country so that they can lift the younger generation up. But yes, there are a lot of young Albanians leaving Albania coming into this country, without a doubt. And it's not going to be easy for them. With the increasing tourism in Albania, I mean, Albania's got a huge potential for tourism. And I think for young people in Albania to concentrate now on tourism, they'll be able to stay in their country, contribute to their country, and work within the tourist industry, which is growing right across the Balkans, you know, the whole of the Balkans. And I think, you know, as Albania becomes more and more integrated into the Balkan communities and the other Balkan communities do, and start to drop a lot of these old tropes and hatreds to each other, and start to integrate and cooperate together, there will be far more growth within that region than there will be in this country over the coming years. You know, Albania offers huge opportunities. The Balkans offers huge opportunities. And I think for young people to grasp that, they're going to be safer than putting their hands into illegal smuggling and the hardships that they will find when they get to the United Kingdom.